federal judge dismissed the murder case against Brian Keeley. He's the former Michigan State Police sergeant who hit a man with his cruiser last year. He was trying to arrest 25-year-old Samuel Sterling, who had a number of warrants. Sterling would later die at the hospital after that chase in a Kentwood parking lot.
In this 19-page document, the federal judge says the state did not have enough evidence to dispute Keeley's actions during the chase, and the court will grant Keeley's motion and dismiss the case. Former Michigan State Police Sergeant Brian Keeley will not face federal charges. He was charged with second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter in the death of Samuel Sterling. It was April of last year when Keeley was trying to arrest a 25-year-old on a number of warrants. Investigators say Sterling ran away when they moved in to get him. Officers ran after him to a nearby fast food restaurant while Keeley pursued in an unmarked cruiser. Video released by MSP shows Sterling being hit by Keeley's SUV. The murder case was originally in state court, but it moved to federal court. U.S. District Court Judge Hala Jarbo ruling that because Keeley was operating as part of a U.S. Marshal's task force, the case fell under federal jurisdiction. Keeley argued that he was immune because he was a federal officer when attempting to arrest Sterling and cannot be found in violation of state law if acting in an authorized way. In the document, Judge Jarbo says the state argued Keeley acted with malice and he turned his wheel sharply toward Sterling in the seconds before impact. That conduct, it seemed to argue, suggested that Keeley intended to kill or harm Sterling. But in her ruling, Judge Jarbo said, quote, the state presented no evidence that Keeley turned his wheel sharply toward Sterling or intentionally killed him. The video evidence does not support that theory. The judge went on to say, quote, Sterling was actively attempting to evade arrest, leading to multiple officers on an extended chase in a populated area. Because Keeley and the other officers reasonably believed Sterling was armed, they had good reason to believe that Sterling posed a significant threat to the safety of officers and the public. That threat would have increased if Sterling had made it inside the Burger King restaurant. Considering these factors, even if Keeley's actions were risky, he made a reasonable decision to try to block or deter Sterling from entering the restaurant in order to prevent more serious risk to the public and to the officers created by Sterling's flight. And community leaders and Brian Keeley's attorneys are reacting to the news tonight.
News 8's Adriana Doria with a breakdown of the response, and she's in studio with the latest.
Brian, Amber, it really was a mixed bag of reactions tonight. Brian Keeley's attorneys calling this a win and, quote, long overdue. But those on the Sterling side, like Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel and Kent County Commissioner Robert Womack, angry with the dismissal today. Womack even calling this, quote, a travesty of justice.
This is an abomination of justice, and it's continuing to happen here in West Michigan.
Kent County Commissioner Robert Womack speaking to News 8 just moments after hearing the news that Brian Keeley's federal case was dismissed, calling it unacceptable.
When a case is thrown out, that's such an injustice and slap to the face of the family that I am really shook up by this decision. We believe every family deserves their day in court when their child has been murdered, because it gives everybody an opportunity, community members, law enforcement, parents, a chance to see what went wrong. What can the police do different? What can the community do different?
Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel chiming in on the news, calling it, quote, a miscarriage of justice. She added in a statement that, quote, such a precedent is dangerous and fundamentally undermines the principles of justice and accountability our legal system is meant to uphold. Womack also concerned about the message this sets for the community and the nation.
It's setting a dangerous precedent to tell people in the community that an officer can be the judge, jury, and executioner on the spot. And as this case was announced that there was immunity, that they seem to believe that police all can operate with qualified immunity according to their statutes. But here in the United States of America, I will remind them, it's still power to the people.
But the news coming as a relief for Keeley and his attorneys, who say their client is now vindicated, saying in a statement in part, quote, this ruling brings long overdue relief to an officer who was doing his job to protect the public from a dangerous fugitive who escalated the situation by choosing to flee and place both officers and the community at risk. They believe the message that this ruling sends is the right one, adding that, quote, this ruling not only vindicates our client, but also sends a strong message in support of those who serve with honor and integrity.
Attorney Ben Johnson, who is representing the Sterling family in civil lawsuits against Keeley and Kent County, released a statement saying the decision to dismiss charges is, quote, sends a troubling message that a police officer can run over an unarmed man and avoid facing a criminal jury. Let me be clear, while this criminal case has been dismissed, our fight for civil justice is not. And to read more of these statements, you can head over to woodtv.com. Amber.